Amber, and welcome to the MeetRx Success Story podcast. And today we have a special guest with us, Leo. Welcome, Leo.
Hello, Amber. I'm really happy to be here to talk about my story.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear it. So before you started a meat-based diet, can you give us a little bit of idea of what was going on with your health and what was happening in your life?
Yes, so I am a medical school student. I am 36 years old, and I had many health conditions before I started Carnivore. I had mental health conditions. I suffered from anxiety, and my mood was really unstable. And this is since I was 20 years old. I had often periods of depression. And I also had gastrointestinal issues. I suffered from diverticulosis and from irritable bowel syndrome. And I had also acid reflux. And since 2012, I have multiple sclerosis. I was obese. I weighted, my peak, I was 115 kilos. That's about 250 pounds. I suffered from sleep disorder. I had insomnia. I was often really tired, and it was for me difficult in the morning to get up and to start the day. I was dragging myself around. And my immune system was disrupted. I was having fever every month or every 2 months. I had always some infection, or there was always something going on. And with my multiple sclerosis, it started in 2012, but I got misdiagnosed. The diagnosis arrived only 2 years later. And I changed after 2 years. I changed my neurologist, and I found a really bad neurologist who didn't give me any therapy for over 1 year. So I decided to look around and to see if I could do something to improve my health condition without the help of a doctor, of the neurologist. At the time, it was 2014. My situation was really bad. I suffered from anxiety whenever I had something stressful to do, for example, an exam at university. My anxiety triggered the irritable bowel syndrome, and that triggered the inflammation of my diverticula. So I got diverticulosis, and I had to stay in bed for days, sometimes for a whole week, with the fatigue of the multiple sclerosis added to it. I was suffering from high blood pressure because of my obesity, and it was really bad. I had a sleeping disorder, recurrent infections, and I had many, the symptoms of my multiple sclerosis were really ramping up quickly. I had every couple of weeks a new symptom coming. And so I decided to start a not approved therapy called the Coimbra protocol, which is based on high doses of vitamin D. And this helped me very much. I got my multiple sclerosis in total remission. I didn't have any relapses since then. But the chronic symptoms of my multiple sclerosis were still there. So the fatigue was there, the lack of concentration, the lack of memory. I wasn't able to study. I was quite desperate. Yes. So after it was about 2017 that my wife convinced me to undergo surgery for my intestine, because that was also getting worse. And so I got a resection of my sigmoid colon. And after the resection, I didn't have any inflammation of my diverticula anymore, but I still had the irritable bowel disease, and my intestine was still inflamed. So I started to think that maybe the problem was not only the vitamin D, but also something that I was eating, that my diet was wrong. And I started to study about diet, and so I found out about the VAS protocol and about keto diet. And I started keto in 2018, which helped me. Keto helped to improve my symptoms of multiple sclerosis, and I had better mood. I had slightly more energy, and I lost a lot of weight, so I was really happy. I plateaued at about 90 kilos, which is 200 pounds. So I lost a nice amount of weight. And after that, I saw the Joe Rogan episode with this crazy doctor who was talking about eating only meat. And I thought, well, why not? Let's try it out. I already was doing a crazy therapy with this high doses of vitamin D. So why not add to that a crazy diet? And I gave me 1 week. I thought, well, let's try it out for 1 week and let's see what happens. And it was really incredible what happened. I remember on the 3rd day of Carnivore, I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was full of energy. I had a clear mind, and this never happened before in my whole life, I think, maybe when I was a kid. And that day I went for a walk, and then I made a little run, and I felt like I was floating. I was not dragging myself anymore. I was like, it was really strange. And after the days after, I noticed that my anxiety was gone and my mood improved a lot, and that was really surprising. The only negative effect was that I had quite severe diarrhea for 3 months, but the positive outweighed the negatives by large, so I went on with the carnivore diet. And when the diarrhea went away, my intestine was reborn. I had no inflammation. I had no more irritable bowel syndrome. My I had no more diverticulitis problem. My intestine was fixed. And after a couple months, I noticed that my memory came back. And that's the most incredible thing. My memory and my concentration came back, and I was able to study again. So now in the last year, I made more exams at the university than in the previous 3 or 4 years. Now I almost finished my medical school. And I lost also more weight. Now I weigh 72 kilos, which is about 160 pounds. So I lost 90 pounds from the beginning. And at the same time, I gained muscle mass. So I'm really happy about that. And another thing that I noticed is that I didn't need supplements anymore. I was used to take a lot of supplements, a handful. I took vitamin A, B's, vitamin C, and vitamin K2, magnesium. I took really a lot of supplements, and I observed that I felt better without the supplements after starting the carnivore diet than taking with the supplements. Now I take only the vitamin D, omega-3s, and some collagen. It's all I take. And well, that's about it. That's my story.
That's about it. That's huge. I can
Yes,
just
it's really
imagine
huge.
the difference that just the concentration bit alone, being in medical school and feeling good enough to where you could do the things that you needed to do. That's just huge.
Yes,
I'm so
it's
happy for you that yeah, wow, you had some serious stuff going on there. So when you first started Carnivore, tell us a little bit about how you ate. What were you eating? Did you include dairy? Did you do anything different out of the ordinary that you want to talk about?
well, I eat pork and beef, and sometimes fish. I don't eat dairy, but this is because of the vitamin D. I take really high doses, so I absorb all the calcium I eat, and I cannot eat dairy because of the calcium. But this has nothing to do with the carnivore diet. Or I like dairy very much, and I would like to eat it, but I cannot because of the vitamin D. And other than that, I eat a lot of butter. If the meat is too lean, I add a lot of butter, and that's about it. I drink water, some alcoholic beverages. I drink some vodka or some whiskey, but nothing else. And that's it. It wasn't complicated because I came from the keto diet, so the passage from the keto to carnivore was not so traumatic. Yes.
That's good. What about eggs? Did you include that, or
Yes,
did you do 3 meals a day? Like how often were you eating or are eating?
oh, I eat when I'm hungry. I do 2 meals a day, ordinary. Sometimes I do 1 meal a day, usually 2 meals a day. I eat eggs, of course, yes. And I don't eat chicken because I don't like it very much, but that's only a question of taste. And nothing else, really. Meat and eggs and salt and some spices and butter. That's it.
Very good. Sounds like a plan. It seems to be working
Yes,
very well for you. Well, you've kind of
really well.
talked about the benefits that you've noticed, the improvements. So if you could pinpoint one thing that kind of surprised you that has really made all the difference, what would that one thing be?
The memory. The memory, I, in the last 8 years, I got used to not being able to memorize things. I was used to study one page, to read the same page 4 or 5 times to try to remember something. And now all of the sudden I read something and I I get it, and it sticks in my mind, and it's incredible. I still today, after 1 year, I'm surprised that I can remember things. I was so used to not being able to remember things that this is really, I think, the greatest improvement. And my mood also. I mean, my anxiety was quite crippling, and it went away. It's incredible, really.
That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. That has to be a huge difference in your life for sure. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Leo, and discussing your success with a meat-based
You're
diet.
welcome.
And you have a very wonderful day. Thanks, Leo.
Thank you. It
Bye.
was a pleasure. Goodbye.
Bye.